Welcome, wonderful listeners, to the Shadow and Starlight Podcast, where two friends deep dive into popular fantasy and romantasy books. We get into the stories, characters, world building, lore, and so much more.
So, buckle your seatbelts for this wild roller coaster ride of emotions, magical worlds, and laughs. I'm Kinsey.
I'm Kana.
And today we're covering chapters 23 of 33. 23 through 33 of Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros.
First and foremost, please listen carefully to our content warning. These are adult books we are covering, and neither of us have a filter, so this podcast is rated R and for those 18 plus. Regarding spoilers, if you have not finished the entire Onyx Storm book to the very last page, please come back after you do so. While we are discussing the stretch of chapters, we will be doing so with perspective of what happens all the way to the end of the book for better understanding, to dig deeper into the theories, and appreciate the foreshadowing of Rebecca Yarros. So going forward, all episodes on our show will contain spoilers for the whole series in question.
Next, if you like what you hear today and want more, please come back next Thursday, and next Thursday, and next Thursday, and next Thursday, and every Thursday after that for a brand new episode. As a adolescent podcast, we would love to hear your feedback to better ourselves and expand our book loving community. Please feel free to give us reviews, reach out to us on social media, and follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and watch us on YouTube at Shadow and Starlight Pod.
All right, the drink of the pod is water because I'm severely hungover. Yeah.
I'm lame today because I haven't went to the grocery store, so I don't have anything to drink. I don't like tap water, not from my house. Anyways, so yeah, I got city water. It's nasty.
I mean, it is. I don't drink tap water either. You need to get a Brita.
I do need to get a Brita because I keep forgetting to go buy water bottles from the store.
All right. Reminder. Metal Slinger is coming up. So if you haven't started your read, I would do it soon. It has got raving reviews on Book Talk, and it's obviously a fantasy romance because that's what we be doing over here. And the tropes it has include a slow burn. Ooh, we love that. Tension, he falls first, unique magic system, political intrigue, adventure, and apparently there is a jaw-dropping plot twist at the end. So I'm 20% through. I love it so far. I love all the characters, and it's really fun. And I'm a little nervous about this plot twist. We don't know when the second book is coming out, but everything's fine. It's fine. It's going to be great. I'm excited to cover it next.
I actually might go pick that up today. Do you have the physical book or are you reading on your Kindle?
I'm reading it on Kindle. It's on Kindle Unlimited.
Okay. To kick off our episode, Kana's going to lead us across the parapet as she takes us through her Shadow and Starlight. What the hell? As she takes us through her Shadow and Starlight synopsis, aka her unhinged summary detailing the events of these chapters.
After a rather hilarious horse ride where the majority of Quest Squad is questioning whether Xaden being so nice is a temporary bout of insanity, the group arrives at Tomes and Tales. Lovely little name for a bookshop. After a fight scene that could have been avoided with some solid communication, old lady Narelle immediately recognizes Asher Sorrengail's daughter, here to collect his books he left for her. Enter one of the funniest scenes in the book, at least in my opinion. Xaden being mistaken as Dain. The scene was just pure Rebecca Yarros genius. Like, I laughed so hard. I went back and read it 5 times. Anyways, after a quick pop quiz, Violet finally has her hands on her father's rather mysterious life's work, leaving us wondering what the heck is in it and pondering the ramifications of Krovla trying to deal in dragons. But first, self-care and spice. Finally! Limited access, the mind-to-mind dirty talk, and the waiting of 6 weeks makes this particular scene very delicious to read. Rebecca, I still don't know how you do it, but every spice scene is better than the last, and I just thank you. Not only has she blessed us with a happy Xaden these last few chapters, but now we have a Xaden completely feral and out of control. In other words, he is totally starved for Violet and as hot as possible. No play-by-play, but bangity bang bang bang. It's good. Instead of enjoying reading about multiple rounds of spice all night long, Halden has fucked up, meaning we the readers and our main characters have to go do some damage control. He was such a royal ass that he got himself kidnapped. Cue rescue mission. The flight over to King Cortland's palace is punctuated by terrified Deverelli citizens and Tairn repeating his superior lineage until Violet cuts him off once again. Violet? Let him cook. Xaden gives a less than diplomatic but truth-laden speech to the hostile guards paired with Tairn intimidation, and they are escorted to a tense dinner situation. First, a knife in Halden's hand, which he kind of deserved though. True to his douche canoe nature, he had offered a Tyrandor blade to King Cortland to hit two birds with one stone, securing an alliance and being petty to his ex-girlfriend's new man. My inner cat lady cheers as Cortland's panthers join the conversation, but they don't really look too friendly. Good news, dessert is served. Bad news, it's not chocolate cake, it's a head. Captain Anna Windshire's head, precisely. The worst of Halden's offenses was not pettiness, but what he thought was a grand plan of stealing Navarian treasures back from the king, with a very sadistic side. And to make it even worse, he has a temper tantrum. Despite Violet and Xaden's attempt to scrap the alliance, King Cortland orders their deaths. Vi and Xaden quickly work to defend themselves, and Xaden goes into a fury after Violet is injured, causing him to then channel from the broken bits of Violet's conduit and kill everyone with shadows. Hot, but not really conducive to his slippery soul. Yikes. If there's one thing we know about Violet, it's that when everything goes to complete, immediate shit, our girl's gonna figure something out. She commands Xaden to leave in order to protect himself due to his red eyes, and with the help of her invisible dragon, Violet uses one of his exceptionally large house cats as leverage. Cortland cries, "My Shayla!" but has to listen and hastily accept Violet's demands or risk testing Andarna's self-control when it comes to eating her allies. Just when she begins to drool, an alliance is struck. My Shayla!
Applaud to Andarna's self-control this scene too, because usually she's
I was very impressed. She's always talking about eating something.
Mm-hmm.
Back at Basgiath a week later, the Iron Squad gets in trouble for talking in class. Instead of being sent to Principal Father Atos' office, Violet is then called on to explain what the Venom movement on the map is indicating. It's not good. They know the Eurasian wards are failing and are moving into position to sack it when they eventually fail. Next class is sparring paired with some research, where our precious little first years insist that they help in any way. It takes them reminding Violet that she would have never been fine on the sidelines her first year, leaving her literally speechless. As they debate how they will possibly visit all the Isles in the next 5 months, Zaddy's back. Not an ASIM yet, but his eyes are turning amber. Check engine light. Alert! As a group, Quest Squad decides to commit treason once again, this time with Auric as the royal representative so they don't have to drag around a little bitch in a basket. 10 days later, Quest Squad departs for the Isles after a rather heated family reunion. Speaking of family drama, Mira and Violet have a totally off vibe right now, but I kind of get it. Seems like Violet was definitely her father's favorite. After pushing the limits of flight time, the squad lands and sets up a campsite and a little trap for unbrished soldiers, who arrive at dawn, and they are so rude with their knives. Ugh, yep, it's time. We gotta visit the only place more toxic than Basgiath War College. They are rudely escorted to where the challenge for entry will be held, and Violet is stopped short upon arrival. There's Silva Hea everywhere. No time to think about that at the moment because it is challenge time. Time to square off against a super intense lady and two big scary twins. Xaden, you got this, right? You got that? Never mind. Oh shit, now Dain and Violet have to fight too. It's fine, everything's fine, because Auric is fluent in Umbrish and a bunch of other languages too. Royal tutors and all that. I wonder what else our boy is fluent in. French, maybe? Violet faces off against Marlis, who is literally laughing at her. Don't worry, our FMC is about to humble you after she gets her ass beat up first. With a little help from a lightning display, Marlis, Queen of Umbriel, yields. Good news, they can hunt and camp in the jungles of the Isle. Bad news, Andarna's family ain't here, and the price of their alliance is 12 dragon eggs. Yeah, no, ain't gonna happen. Nope, never, not in a million years. Not only does this bitch have the audacity to suggest dragons are too arrogant, she has the gall to try and touch Sorrengail and speak to her, a bonded dragon. Thanks to Xaden, Sorrengail has a rare moment of restraint. Refusing the offer and returning to camp, they have a quick discussion on how lightning oh so luckily struck at the exact moment they needed it before getting the heck off Umbriel. Next up, Hedotus, living proof that knowledge doesn't make you smart. In fact, it makes you a bit of an asshole sometimes. A warm welcome is a nice change of the norm until we realize who is welcoming them. Some seemingly nice old man and Xaden's mom. Hello, Talia. You suck. I hate you. But I'm actually so happy that you're here because that means my theory was right. But anyways, poor Xaden. Yeah. It's a whole thing. Lots of
Yeah.
family drama in this book.
Yeah.
Tell you.
All right. Now that we have crossed the parapet and Kenna has taken us through her unhinged summary, it's time to head into our battle brief section, where we will discuss where we will discuss all notable things in the essential chapters, including foreshadowing theories and our favorite parts.
It's a struggle. I'm glad it's not just me today.
Oh,
okay, y'all. We have 2 major enemies to lovers storylines, at least I think, that is happening, and I'm here for both of them. So
yes.
first, Dain and Sloane. Ooh, it's like forbidden love. I love it.
Yes.
Okay, well, I guess Dain doesn't really care about adhering to the codex anymore, since, Sloane is a first year and he's her wing leader. I'm just kidding. We love you now, Dain. It's fine. You should kiss Sloane.
Yeah.
I really picked up the stretch on their pointed glances and the tension with each other after Sloane repeatedly flushes red in front of Dain. Violet even picks up on this vibe. She says, quote, I lift my brows at the look she shoots him, mostly because I can't tell if she wants to stab him in his seat or what, Violet? She want to bang him?
Yep.
I know she didn't actually say that, but that's the vibe I'm picking up on for sure. Now, our second enemies to lovers that is happening is Mira and Drake. And I love this so much, especially because she kneed him in the balls when they met. It's just like the cutest love story ever. Anyways, while they're heading up to the shore of Hedotus, they are loudly arguing about some flight maneuver. It's such a cute scene because she's like, that would never work. And he's just like smiling at her in this most charming way. And Violet says like that smile could charm anyone else, but it just makes Mira more angry. I'm like, I feel like I know where this is going.
Sounds a little familiar.
I've read a lot of fantasy romance books, and I'm no expert, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna fall in love.
Yeah,
and I love it.
No, I agree. Definitely think that these 2 relationships are going to happen, especially the Sloane and Dain. I feel like it's so scandalous for Dain because he's not really the scandalous type. I love this for him.
Well, it's just a testament to Rebecca's writing, I think, too, because obviously, like, Dain isn't necessarily responsible for Liam's death, but he played a part in it. Sloane hated Violet so much, and to think about how much she hated Dain even more than that.
Yeah.
And now the fact that their relationship is morphing into something else just speaks to their growth as characters. And also, I feel like it's believable that they would like each other. And that's because she wrote it in a way to make us believe that.
Right.
But
I mean,
I love it. I'm shipping
it's also hot as hell.
Yeah.
Wing leader and
very
and cadet. Love that. We love that.
Dain. Why is he like extra hot right now?
Oh no.
Oh my god.
Next, we're going to talk about more traders and leadership. So last episode we did talk about the revealed trader. This episode we're going to talk about more potential traders and leadership. We have been speculating since Iron Flame that there is definitely a breach of information somewhere in the bar leadership, but we just did not know who. So in this stretch, when Violet was retrieving her father's journals, we learned that someone in leadership was actually aiding in an attempt to trade in Feathertails to Crovlin. Did I say that right?
Krovla?
Crovla?
Crovlin or Krovla? I don't know.
One of the 2. And we know that Violet's dad's research was on Feathertail, so he at some point had to stop sharing this information with certain people that was close to him because obviously there was a breach in leadership and he was actually doing research on these dragons, but he knew that people wanted them to trade them in to the Isles and stuff like that. So one of these people was actually Father Atos, and we know this because Violet tells Dain in the stretch, quote, your dad knows my dad's books has something to do with Feathertails, which means Dad knew to stop trusting him at some point, end quote. And even though we actually do find out that Panchik was a traitor at the end of this book, I think that there were way more traitors among the Navarian leadership. For one, I still think that Father Atos is a traitor. Like, obviously, I don't know.
He has to.
He has to be. It wouldn't make sense because if he wasn't, because he's just like so interested in the Feathertail research, and he's been questioning it since the beginning. And I low-key think that he either wants to continue to trade or I don't know. obviously he has alternative motives. Also, we are also just still pondering, like, is Professor Carr been complicit? Because from Fourth Wing Iron Flame, he has absolutely no problem punishing students and pushing them their burnout or committing just straight up murder in front of everybody. So,
Yeah.
like, could this just be his ruthlessness and just his personality, or could he also be like part of the cause with the rest of the traitors among the Bryant leadership?
Hmm. I have a feeling he could possibly be Venom complicit. And I feel like my biggest reasoning behind that is he sucks at training signets. And I'm like, if you're gonna be a professor at Basgaiath that trains signets, shouldn't you know what the fuck you're doing? I know he like Violet's signet especially was very rare
Yeah.
and hadn't been seen in centuries, so he probably didn't understand it very well. But from what it sounds like, he's not super effective at getting people to like test the limits of their signets,
Mm-hmm.
especially in a safe way. I don't know. That just seems suspicious to me because like wouldn't he be wanting to really help them and
Yeah.
prepare them? Because if he was Menon, maybe he wouldn't, and he's like trying to get in our way on purpose and stop their development. But
Yeah.
I don't know. He's just an asshole.
I feel like too, it would make perfect sense for a professor to be Venom because they're not really aiding in like a very important way. Like, you would think
Yeah.
like when you born a dragon, you get your signet, you want to be of use, you want to be on the front lines where the action is, you want to be considered powerful. But the professors, they are more effective on campus, meaning like their signets probably aren't powerful enough to be used in war. So they
Mm-hmm.
have plenty of motive to be Venom or work with the Venom or be traders in general. So I feel like it makes more sense for the professors to be traders.
Yeah, I think so too. Especially if someone that was like the head of Basgaiath was able to put people he knows that are traitors in professor positions,
Mm-hmm.
just really setting them back.
Yeah.
Ah, what the fuck? It's probably happening.
Yep.
All right, next we're going to talk about Violet's dedication to Dune. Ooh. Yeah, tragically, we were way off about the silver hair. We were like for sure that it had something to do with Venom, which it maybe could. I don't know. We still don't know a ton about it. I also thought it was something Malik related, but it's fine. I'm glad that we know now that Violet was dedicated to Dune, goddess of war, at a young age by her father. And even Violet doesn't really recall when he visited the Isles, so she must have been very young. And the priestess at Umbriel confirms, quote, "It's good we did not complete your dedication." So she remembers Violet, and Violet has no memory of this. I also wonder if Violet did go when she was a little bit older and maybe her dad had her memory wiped somehow. Maybe.
Hmm.
I don't know. But, anyways, we also know that dedicating children to a deity was actually outlawed in the 200s in Navarre. So I'm like, what the hell, Papa Sorrengail? You clearly have this master plan to prepare Violet for something, and part of that was dedicating her to Dune, but you didn't finish the dedication. So, like, what's going on there? I am honestly lost in the sauce, but in future episodes, we're going to discuss this theory that's kind of prophecy ish. And it's really cool. I think we may have solved the entire plot of the book. I'm just kidding. But I think it makes a lot of sense and it's really interesting. So be on the lookout in future episodes. We're going to talk prophecy theories. I did also find it interesting that the priestess suggested, quote, "Usually the touch creates such a longing that you can't help but return, or perhaps you now favor another god."
Hmm.
What? So apparently when you're like touched or dedicated to a god, you have like this longing to go to temple. Violet has stated that she was going to Malik's temple a lot. And it was to yell at Malik, which the audacity girl. It was to yell at him for taking her dad from her. But I just thought that was so interesting because I don't really remember her ever saying that she would go to a temple of Dune.
Yeah.
And the priestess suggested, like, maybe you're touched by another god now, and we know how much she talks to Malik and
Hmm.
yada yada yada. So I'm like, whoa, like, is she now dedicated or touched by Malik and she doesn't even know it?
Yeah.
How's that gonna play out? I don't know. But it's interesting.
And that was the only place, like you said, that they hadn't visited was the Bay of Malik. So I feel like there's
Mm-hmm.
still a lot of information that we don't know about her childhood because we didn't get her full story of what happened to her during childhood. We just know that she was with her father when he was visiting the Owls, and they did start a dedication to Dune, but never
Yeah.
finished it. So it's like, where's the rest of the story, bruh?
Dude, what if she goes to visit the Bay of Malik? Which would be super dangerous because it's right next to the Barrens.
Yeah.
I just had like a random thought because Andarna can go invisible. What if
Mm-hmm.
she like was able to ride Andarna invisible like all the way to the Bay of Malik?
Hmm.
That would be so cool.
That would be cool.
Random thought.
Let's again talk about Xaden's inevitable downfall because we are getting some more character differences in this stretch as well. So we actually discovered two different sides of Xaden. Like we knew he had these sides, but we saw two totally different sides of Xaden in this stretch. He had a happy side and he had a bad boy side.
You're very bad.
Very bad. So we think that it is very important to note that Xaden was not his usual grumpy control freak self. In fact, he was nice to everybody, including Dain the Stain. And this could be one of the many stages of withdrawal that was actually studied by Dominic Prischel. I think I'm saying that right. And I'm going to read the quote.
Yeah.
So it says, in the first 24 hours of removal from source magic, the subject in ASIM was presented as even-tempered, but withdrawal quickly revealed the subject's true nature, requiring the subject's immediate transfer to stage 2 of the study. So I think this is kind of what happens in this stretch where Xaden's like super chill, he's super happy, he's like, oh yeah, I'm fine, like in denial, delulu, all of the above. And then later on in the stretch, he absolutely loses it. He loses control, and even like in a place with no magic, he finds the smallest piece of magic to channel from the source and get that extra magic he needed to kill everybody in the room when they were meeting with Cortland. I feel like this is just more proof of his inevitable slip of control, especially when it comes to his girl Violet. And I think this is also more proof of the scene at the end of the book where he's just like, fuck it, there's no other choice, I have to. And he just kind of gives into it. So, yeah.
I'm super nervous. Like, if we're getting glimpses of him, like, really scary and almost like a monster, just like this totally dark version of himself, like, he channeled so much from the source. He's definitely progressed to an ASIM.
Yeah,
At the
for
end
sure.
of Onyx Storm. And I'm like, okay, so is that going to be like how he is all the time? The bad boy side?
Yeah.
Scary.
I feel like he's going to exhaust himself trying to hold his control so much. Because, like, this whole book, he's just, like, literally fighting with himself. It's a never ending internal battle with himself to, like, regain his control. And then he just slips no matter what he does. Like, he's just continuing to slip.
Yeah. Damn. Okay, next, speaking of Xaden, we're going to talk about his bond with Sorrengail. In this stretch of chapters, we see two solid instances showing the strength of their bond, even when Sorrengail's giving him the silent treatment, and our parents are fighting, it's not good. Anyways, when Violet considers staying in a land without magic for her man, so that she can enjoy him happy and that he won't have risk of losing his soul completely, Xaden tells her that Sorrengail's in pain and that he could never cause her pain. And this just made me like pause and think about their bond because Sorrengail was there for him at one of the toughest times in his life. He had just entered the quadrant, he watched his dad die, and he had the responsibility of 107 lives weighing on his back, plus all the hate that people gave him because his father did lead the rebellion. And I was just like, wow. So like their bond was really forged in fire, and they have learned to depend on each other. And then later in the stretch, Xaden is able to actually talk her down, like the most ruthless dragon on the continent, from responding to a grave insult to dragonkind, which was the Queen of Umbriel trying to speak and touch Sorrengail. Xaden said to her, quote, if you want to, I understand, but her death would be incredibly inconvenient. Can you pick a guard or something? I was like, damn. And then also remember that Sorrengail chose Xaden over her mate when she kept his intrinsic secret. And that kind of really signifies their loyalty and significance to each other and how strong their bond is. And also, I find it interesting. It kind of seems like Tairn and Sorrengail have been arguing all book.
Yeah.
Been picking up on that. And all of this just makes me more inclined to think that she'll break her mating bond with Tairn to follow Xaden at the end of the book in order to protect him and help him figure out whatever he's going to do next.
Yeah. And maybe, I don't know, because we know, like, at the end of the book, well, like, we've theorized up until this point that their maiden bond was broken. And we know that some agreement was made between Xaden and Violet off script that caused Imogen to wipe her memories. This could maybe be a result of that off script conversation and them like constantly just debating it to figure out what's the best choice at the end if anything happens. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of stuff that goes in the background that we didn't realize, and like a lot of stuff we don't know that happened. Like the off script conversation that I really want between Xaden and Violet and Imogen. But yeah.
Yeah, I would love that as well.
All right. Now we're gonna talk about magic beyond magic. Basically,
Magic.
our girl Violet wielding magic on the Isles in places that have no magic. And we believe that this could be because of Andarna. And Kana actually mentioned last week that it could be because Feathertail's wield from the sky and not the ground. And during that rescue mission, Violet's conduit still held some power, and several times throughout the stretch, she did strike lightning in areas that had no magic. Like nobody else could access magic, but she could, and she could also still talk to her dragons, so nobody else could do that either. So we think this is also like a really important note that some of the areas on the Isle still have some power though. So I think that this could be because that the Feathertails reside in certain parts of the Isles.
Yeah. I am so curious to learn more about the Emirates. Not you having a super long theory and me having like a baby theory that I'm ashamed of.
Our first theory is actually about Bodhi. Bodhi, brah. This theory is all over the place, and I'll try to organize my thoughts the best I can, but just bear with me. So let's talk about Bodhi and the end of the book. So up until this point, we have discovered that many of the Mark Ones have second signets. When Violet asks Bodhi about this, he responds, quote, "I don't have a second signet like Xaden," end quote. Side note, really quickly, Rebecca Yarros has set Bodhi up to be almost like a shadow of Xaden. So let's just keep that in mind. So I was also wondering, like, could this be another secretive clue, or did Bodhi really not know that Xaden had a second signet and it was like just that out of the loop that he didn't know about it? I'll talk about that a little bit more later.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of Onyx Storm, Xaden talks about a new brother. Quote, "I glanced past Berwin, past the Gale and the Venom to my new brother. How could he do this? Choose this after watching me stumble and fall over the last 5 months. How could he willingly walk the path I fought like hell to leave?" End quote. So logically, it would make the most sense that Bodhi would be the best fit for this because the word sibling is italicized on this page, and because Xaden has referred to Bodhi as brother throughout this entire series. And then a few pages later, when Xaden is talking to Zagil about their next steps, and they're wondering whether she, which we don't really know who she is, but we think that she is Andarna, will help, Xaden says, quote, "You saw what happened is the only way," end quote. So I think that this response came from Bodhi channeling from the source and becoming Venom. So now he's unfit to be the Duke of Tyrandor and take Xaden's place. I also think this stems from their off-script conversation where they talk about saving Tyrandor if anything bad were to happen. And also Bodhi has mentioned several times to this point, and he has voiced several times that he did not want the responsibility of being Duke of Tyrandor. He didn't want that. He wanted to stick by Xaden's side and fight with him. He did not want to take on his responsibilities. So the only way to save Tyrandor is through marriage and giving Violet the crown to the throne, because Bodhi is again now unfit. So I also think that going back to when I was questioning if Bodhi was actually out of the loop, I feel like this is also part of motive, because Bodhi also has motive to turn as well. And maybe he really did not know that Xaden had a second signet. And like I said, Rebecca sets him up to be a shadow, and she sets him up to be almost like the weakest link. And I think in this particular scene at the end of the book, he's trying to help Violet. And what's his damn signet? He can reverse signets, right?
He can counter signets.
He can counter signets. So, like, he's trying to counter his signet on Theophany, but it doesn't work. And Violet kind of mentions, like, maybe it doesn't work on Bennett, it only works on our magic. And so, I feel like all of this is, like, leads up to his motive. Like, him wanting to be more powerful.
Yeah.
He can't really help save the people he loves. He doesn't want responsibility of the throne. And he's literally like Xaden's shadow. He's out of the loop. I mean, like, Garrick also has a second signet, and Xaden and Garrick are best friends. Maybe he feels left out. I don't know. Like, we also know that the story of the Venom stems from 3 brothers. And I don't know, maybe Bodhi is the brother that turns evil in this repeat of history in this story, because Xaden and Garrick pretty much have it all. They have 2 signets. They're very powerful. They're helping to kick ass. And Bodhi's just like, I don't want any of this. no, not listening to me. I'm kind of like the weakest link. I'm left out. And yeah. So I don't know if Bodhi changed to help and aid, or if he changed just out of jealousy, and I don't know what side he would be on. If it was him, I really couldn't tell you what side of the fence he'll be on.
Yeah, that was solid. Good job.
Thank you.
Plot wise, I think the new brother is Bodhi, because if he becomes a Venom, he could possibly counter Venom's signets now, which would be incredibly useful. I think it just makes the most sense because Rebecca said, as far as like when we're thinking about who the new sibling or brother is, like it's someone who always wants more than what he has. And I feel like Bodhi is just like he said, he's the shadow of Xaden, and I don't feel like we fully know and understand him very well.
Yeah.
And that's what gives me pause. Like he's so adamant he doesn't want to like lead Tairn, which is great. Maybe it's because he knew he would turn Venom all along. I don't know, but I just feel like he's always getting shit from Xaden constantly. And like, especially this book, Xaden was like, no, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. You have to do this. And I don't know. I do feel like you're right on a lot of points here. And I think he's the new brother.
Yeah.
I think it.
Also, I know when we were covering Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, you mentioned a lot that how much Rebecca compared the two as far as her looks. Theophany actually refers to them as kin, which we knew they were cousins, but actually kind of highlights their kinship this book as well. So I feel like that's also important to note too. Their similarities, how much they look alike, and they actually are related. And he's considering him a brother throughout this whole series.
We'll see. I don't know. I keep seeing Garrick theories everywhere and Brennan theories for the new brother, but I think I'm pretty solid on Bodhi. But we'll see if that changes in 3 weeks when we finish this up.
I don't know. I feel like I'm overthinking it because she did italicize sibling, and I don't know. Is it just me, or did you realize that she also italicized dead on that page?
On that same,
because he said something like he's supposed to be dead, and it could be because Bodhi was about to burn out. Well, no, it wasn't Bodhi. It was Garrick who was about to burn out, right?
Yeah.
But the word dead was italicized too. It was like right before he said sibling, it was like because he's supposed to be dead, and it was italicized, and it was like another sibling, and then sibling was italicized. So I'm like, what the hell, Rebecca?
I've seen theories that it's Liam.
Well, I was thinking that too. Yeah, because he referred to Liam as a brother too.
Stop bringing dead people back, Rebecca. No, I don't think it is. All right. Okay, I'm actually switching it up and I'm putting my Brennan hate in the theory section, but don't worry, I still have hate to give you, Brennan. Okay. This is like something that's so small and I feel like I could just be totally off and like it doesn't mean anything. But anyways, okay. Brennan has been described as having amber eyes on multiple occasions. And in the stretch, Violet notices that after his last channeling, there's, quote, amber flecks in Xaden's eyes. What? Yes, I went there. And Violet also said that Brennan has their dad's eyes. I'm like, was he a Venom too? What the freak? Am I crazy? Or is everyone just a Venom? I don't know. And then noticeably, Violet, her eyes are blue and amber. So I'm like, is she connected to the Venom like we maybe thought? I don't know. That's all I have. Yeah, that's it. I don't really know how to connect the dots. I just wanted to point it out and maybe get a theory working there. But
that is interesting.
I'm just gonna add that into my hate you, Brennan. Think you're a traitor tab.
Yeah. Yes, and now that I'm also hopping on this Brennan hate train. Last episode we talked about that letter from her father and how he said trust only Mira. And I noted that this stretch, let me find the page really quick. So in chapter header for 24, her mom is writing to their father, quote, she won't understand why you kept her in the dark. You left too soon, left too many of your plans unfinished. Now we can only hope that the bond between our daughters is strong enough to endure the paths they've chosen. They'll need each other to survive. So it's like this is another part in the book.
What the heck?
Where they're highlighting
I didn't even notice that.
Mira and Violet's bond saving the universe. So it's just like, where is Brennan in all of this?
Dude, what? I didn't even notice that, but you're right. That is super suspicious.
It is.
Okay. Let's move on.
All right. We're going to talk about our favorite and notable moments next. And firstly, surprisingly, I'm not going to start off with Xaden. I'm going to actually start off with Dain, Eyes Up Here, Atos.
Oh my god. So hot.
He's been promoted from Dain to Stain or Dain to Pain. He is
What is he now?
Dain eyes up.
Howdy.
Dain eyes up here Atos for now. But never in the million years did I ever think that I would be drooling over Dain. But he had some pretty crazy wrists to stretch, not gonna lie. And the tension between him and Sloane was just absolutely delicious. And I love a good enemies to lovers trope. And it was so good. And I think this would be the cutest couple ever, obviously, other than Xaden and Violet. But I'm actually really happy for this once pain in my ass. I'm like actually happy that he's evolving. Okay, moving on.
I love it.
My next favorite part was when Xaden had this whole nice boy act. I just loved how like it just threw everybody for a loop. Like he's just like smiling and skipping around there like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Something has to be off. And the fact that everybody just knew something was wrong with him because he displayed genuine joy and concern for the group was hilarious. I just thought it was super funny. And then the whole Dain and Xaden mix up, I would never be able to get over the scene. It was freaking hilarious. And I feel like the fact that Violet was so obvious with her drooling that her parents just knew that they were going to end up together is just crazy. And if only like her father could see how hard she was throwing herself at Dain in Fourth Wing before she realized that he was a little bit too much like Father Atos. But yeah.
Dude, you know who else had some serious Riz? Riddick Rizmaster. My dude Riddick has got the charm, the Riz, the whatever, all that and more. And we have reached one of his most iconic lines. GTIFLAT. Good thing I fuck like a third. I'm dead. I have no words. That was absolutely the smoothest thing I've ever heard. And somebody needs to get this man a Quest Squad patch and a hot date because he's got it going and I love it. I already mentioned something along these lines earlier, but I want to talk about Rebecca and character development. Obviously, she is an amazing author for so many reasons, but probably one of my favorites is how she writes the characters. Like, yes, I am deeply attached to Violet, but the way I am so emotionally attached and invested in all of the side characters pretty much is, it's probably unhealthy, but also I think that's a good reflection of her writing talents. And this stretch of chapters made me realize how much I love just every single Iron Squad member, flyer or rider. I love them. I love how they interact with each other, especially Auric, who is also a hottie. Anyways, I found it really touching that he decided to risk exposing himself, or not risk it. He pretty much was like, I'll expose myself to make sure that Halden doesn't fuck this up because it's pretty important. Quote, I do mind condemning the continent to death by Dark Wielder because he can't take a deep breath and count to 3 when he gets mad. I found that hilarious. Laughed out loud. I was like, King, love you. Actually, literally someone make him king. So, because he can see the future and he's not an asshole. I think he'd make a pretty great king.
Yeah.
I do wonder if the series is going to end with him as King of Navarre or something.
I think he deserves it for sure.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, who else? Halden? Ugh.
Absolutely not.
Worst. Okay, my last favorite moment was just the dragons in this stretch of chapters, and it's just making me so desperate for a dragon of my own to back me up, because I feel like the confidence I would have if I had like a big black battle dragon right behind me all the time. Man, I don't know who she would be, but she would be confident. Specifically, one moment when the crew was so rudely awakened by the Umbrish soldiers, I was getting chills at the squad's response, particularly Violet and Tairn and Xaden's Gale. So badass. Quote, I cock my head to the side and flip my dagger to pinch its tip as Tairn growls at my back, low and mean, just the way I like him. I don't know why I love that line so much, but Violet's such a badass, and you can just tell she has so much confidence. Obviously, she earned that, but she knows she has got the baddest dragon in the game.
Yep.
And the cherry on top was Sorrengail almost biting a soldier, and Xaden translated, he said, quote, she said to get fucked. I was like, I can't. This dynamic foursome is iconic. And also, Tairn, I will listen to you recite your whole family line anytime.
Yes. Love the dragons. Little babies. All right, folks. Time to close out our battle brief and move on to the book of Justinia, where we'll dive into the mythology that inspired Onyx Storm, as well as we're doing a breakdown on everything we know about poisons. Feel free to skip ahead to the flight field if you feel like you're already an expert.
Yeah. Okay. So we get so much new everything in this book, dragons, characters, places. We're just so spoiled. But with that, I wanted to take today's myths and go into the origin and meaning of some of our character names. I've already done probably the most meaningful ones, so I just picked out a few of the new ones that we got this book, and some of them aren't really connected to the plot or who the person is, but I find it interesting. But if you don't, you just go ahead and scurry on to the flight field. All right. So Berwyn, the name of our bad sage, doesn't connect to his role in the story, but it's a British name meaning bear friend, bright friend, or white hair. I was like, that's so random. What a random name, Rebecca. And then Marin, our little flyer Marin, we love her. Her name comes from the Old Norse word it's literally MRN. That's the word. How do you anyways. This Old Norse word is associated with pearls, which are considered rare and precious. And I'm like, oh my goodness, Marin, you're just so precious. Okay, Drake. Whoa, this one's cool. It has a lot of different origins, but most of the meaning is the same. And the one that I like the most is derived from the Old Norse word draki, and it means dragon. And most of the other different what is the fucking word I'm looking for? Fuck me. All the other origins also mean dragon. They're just derived from different words. And he's obviously a flyer, but I still think it's cool. And then he's obviously gonna fall in love with a dragon rider Mira. So
yeah,
there you have it. All right, Theophany, our girl Theo. This one's pretty interesting. Theophany means God's appearance and is of Greek origin, and it's derived from the words theos, which means God, and feigning, which means to appear. So basically signifying divine manifestation or revelation. I don't know if that was why she chose Theophany's name, making her godlike almost. Because, I mean, she's pretty powerful, so it is almost like she's godlike. But I don't know. I found that interesting.
She was a goddess too, right?
Oh, yeah, she was dedicated to Dain too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit. Wow, that makes a lot of sense. Okay. Anyways. Kai is one of the first year squad members on the Iron Squad, and his name has many meanings, origins. I like this one though. So in European origins, it's a short form of the name Kaimbi, when that means warrior.
For the magic portion of today, we're going to talk about poisons. So the first thing we're going to talk about is elixirs and serum, which is a magical or medicinal potion. And we also like the serum that's featured in this series book stretch is the serum. Siri thought I was talking to him. No, I'm not talking to you. I said serum, not Siri. Was the serum antidote or the signet blockage. So this actually does the connection to dragon. Signet to the writer, and the elixir was first featured in land navigation. It can wear off on its own, but there's also an antidote to reverse it, and it has a pungent, earthy taste. It also was used throughout the series to weaken the venom, but also keep them alive for questioning. And then the next one that is kind of featured in this book, I know there's more, so like we can do a continuation, but these are only two I could really just find. The next one was the funnily berries, and when consumed, these berries induce extreme sickness, and they are grown on a vine, and they're commonly mistaken for poison ivy. They look very similar to poison ivy, and when they're picked prematurely and dried, they create a very potent poison.
Yes. We'll get to do some more poisoning next week.
Yeah, we do.
with the what's it called? Aaron mint?
Yeah.
Something like that.
I have to do more research on her father's book of poisons because I think he do one too.
Ew. Yeah, I need to go back and also look at like the headers from the first two books, because now we know that her father was Colonel Daxton, who made the How to Excel in the Scribe Quadrant, because that was mentioned a lot in the headers. Well, we know that Asher, her dad, his previous name was Daxton. And in the earlier books, there's been excerpts from Colonel Daxton's guide to excelling in the scribe. You get what I mean.
I get what you mean. I understand, yeah.
Fucking A. I just am giving. I'm giving up. Fun words.
It's okay. We're almost there. Moving on, time to head to the flight field where every week Kana and I will do 2 minute series unique to our podcast. They won't be the same every week, so keep tuning in for all the fun. Today we're going to do Song Association and we're going to do fan cast for the TV show.
You're okay. Song association. Okay, I picked two baller songs, one for each of our main characters. Violet's first up. So this one is from Hidden Citizens and Ruel, which we've done her before in our song association. She makes epic battle fantasy music. Love her. And this song is called Take Over. And yes, I picked this one for my playlist that I specifically have for epic action and battle scenes. So you should listen to this when you're reading something epic. And when the beat drops, it goes so hard. But anyways, the lyrics that caught my eye, quote, "Nothing's gonna bring me down, feeling that adrenaline, the rush in my veins, fuel to the flame, I live for it. Fire on the ground, God, I'm running for cover, better watch out, I'm about to take over." And I just feel like this describes Violet's whole vibe, just taking over all the Isle Kingdoms with her badass fire breathing dragon and her badass fighting and persuasion skills. Like, yes, ma'am, take over. Get it, girl. Okay. All right, your turn, Xaden, you little monster. And this is also another Hidden Citizen song. I love them as well. And the song is Monster, and it features Ryan and Anise. All right. I don't think I've pronounced anything correctly today.
It's okay. It's me like every episode.
Mm-hmm. So since Kenzie talked in foreshadowing about his bad naughty side, this I had to choose a song that kind of fit that. So some of the lyrics from the song, quote, "Black in the night is just a disguise, imagination running wild, maybe I'm a monster, maybe you should run for your life." I just feel like this song was made for him.
Yes.
Like it does showcase the monster he became in the stretch, someone that shocked Violet and made her nervous, but of course she's just like, everything's fine, it's fine, and yeah, no. But and then it also talks about the night as a disguise, which is perfect because he's a shadow wielder. But anyways, these are both bangers you should absolutely put on in the background when you're reading epic scenes. Thank me later.
Yes. All right. So the song that I chose, this is actually just a Xaden specific song. I didn't really find one for Violet the Stretch, but I found one for Xaden, and it's actually Chihiro by Billie Eilish. And like, oh my gosh, finally, there's a Billie Eilish song that actually fits one of my favorite series. Like, I always want to choose Billie Eilish because she's my favorite artist, but like, I'm like, this doesn't really fit. But Chihiro, I heard it during an edit one day, and I was like, I kind of like this vibe. But I actually think this is, again, Xaden's song for this book. And the verse, quote, "open up the door," is such a metaphor for me. And I always thought of it, like, before I even read Onyx Storm. And, like, when I first listened to the song, I always thought "open up the door" was, like, a metaphor of, like, opening up the door to somebody's heart and just taking all the love from someone without them, like, without even trying. And just, like, being so consumed by somebody and not realizing how much of your heart they actually have taken away. And, like, with Xalet, with who? The fuck?
Can I get his number? Is he friends with Xaden?
I combined their names. I was trying to say Xaden. I said Xalet.
Xalet. That honestly sounds like a you name.
Yeah. With Xaden.
My Xalet.
With Xaden, Violet popped up and just immediately took his breath away, and he fell for her instantly. And that sliver, little crack of the door of his heart might just be what actually saves him. And just, yeah, thanks again, Billie Eilish, for that. Love it.
I love that song. I honestly jam out to that song. Have no idea what it's about. So thank you for explaining that.
The song is actually about, so like I think the chorus and the actual lyrics are a little bit different. I think the chorus is actually a metaphor, but the actual lyrics is about a TV anime, Spirited Away. That's where she got it from.
Okay, I got you.
But she like uses the lyrics metaphorically, but like some of the lyrics actually describe some of the stuff that happens in the show. But yeah, it's inspired by Spirited Away, basically.
Yes. Okay, we're going to discuss fan casts. We've already done fan casts, like who we would choose, but it is a ripe time to talk about the actual cast of the TV show because it's coming along. And Rebecca said on her tour that she actually read the pilot and she loved it, which I feel like coming from the person who wrote the book, that's good news. So I'm really excited for this show. I think it's been good, and there's some crazy casting rumors out there right now. So let's talk about Xaden first. So Josh Houston, he's from Dune Prophecy, and I think some other things I don't remember. And then there's also this dude Emilio Sacria. Sorry, dude, definitely didn't pronounce that right. Wow, they're so attractive. Have you seen them on TikTok or anywhere else?
Yeah, I
Oh
have.
my
I saw
god.
the whole Emilio like rumors of his Instagram.
Dude, his PR team, he's either scamming book talk or I don't
They're
know. I
super
feel like it's
good.
for real because they're following Rebecca Yarros. Like, from what it looks like, Emilio looks like he's on the sparring mat and all these videos
Mm-hmm.
he's posting. He's like preparing for something.
Yeah.
And he also posted a picture with like his fingers crossed making an X. I was like, shut up. And the comments are honestly the funniest thing. Everything he posts, there's people that are like, Xaden. And then there's this one person that's like, Ho, is you gonna be our wing leader? And there was one I saw yesterday or the day before.
Mhm.
Someone commented and was like, if you're gonna be Xaden, just wear black in your next post. And he did.
Ooh.
But it's been a big topic of like who's gonna play who.
Mhm.
Initially, I think Josh Houston was rumored to be Xaden, but now I think more people prefer Emilio, which I actually agree with. I think he kind of fits the more rugged vibe, and he's also a lot more bigger and buff. So
Mhm.
there you have that. But I love it. I also think Josh Houston would be a great Bodhi, but I don't know. I'm really hoping they're actually going to be in the show because I think they're great actors. They're eye candy.
Yeah.
So let's go.
I agree with you. I like after seeing all these rumors, I really can't really cast anybody or see anybody else as Xaden, and I do agree. I've seen a lot of speculation of people saying Emilio should play Xaden and Josh should play Bodhi, and I do agree with that because they should look alike and they should both be kind of hot. So we have somebody to look at. I mean, obviously Xaden has to be hot.
Obviously.
So yeah, I don't know. I can't
There's
unsee it now.
I know. There's a bunch of people that don't like Emilio for Xaden. They're like, it just doesn't fit. Like, it's not good enough. And I feel like a lot of that is coming from how much fan art there is of Xaden everywhere. And I just don't think anyone could live up to the vision exactly. So I'm
Yeah.
actually really happy about Emilio, and I hope that ends up happening.
Also, the fan art is very, excuse
Unrealistic.
me, unrealistic and misrepresented a lot. So, and Rebecca
Whitewashed,
Yarros,
yes.
yeah, Rebecca Yarros actually said in an interview that, like, with her casting, the biggest thing that she wants to focus on with Aiden is to make sure he's not white. Me personally, I don't think anybody could ever live up to the vision of Xaden. But I mean, we have to settle for some hot specimen somewhere. So I mean, I feel like it's very hard to picture a real life person as Xaden. I don't know. He's just so perfect in my head. Like I don't think I could ever picture him as anything else. But I
Same.
have to settle for somebody.
Yeah. It's not even settling. Emilio is actually the finest man.
It's barely
He's
selling,
so
but
attractive.
it it doesn't really fit the. It's not the perfect picture, but I feel like he would be the perfect person to play it. I mean, like
Yeah,
we
I agree.
we're book geeks. We have these fantasies in our head. Sometimes it's hard to put them in
Yeah,
real
we
life,
do.
but we want the show, so somebody has to play Xaden at this point. Just give
Exactly.
us
And
Xaden.
we're gonna like it. Whatever it is, we're gonna like it. We're not gonna complain because we're gonna see dragons on the screen,
No, for
y'all. We're gonna see
real.
Tairn and Segale on screen.
Yes.
And Little Andarna. Don't forget about
Oh
her.
yeah.
Okay, so the Violet casting rumors, I don't even know. I was trying to figure out yesterday like why this was a rumor and why it's like gotten so much attention. But it's looking like Violet might be who plays Renesmee from Twilight, so Mackenzie Foy. And I actually love this. Like she's 5'3", she's really tiny, perfect to be our little Violence. And she's also in Interstellar, which is one of my favorite movies. And I don't know, it just like that cast is making it feel like nostalgic since she's in a Twilight series. And I don't know, I really like it. A lot of people are saying that they don't love that, but some people are saying they love it. So I guess
Yeah.
that's just the nature of the fandom, but I like it. And I hope she's the one that plays her because she's a good actress and
Mhm.
I think she looks like Violet, how I picture her in my head.
Yeah. Same. I also think that it could be her. So really quick, I thought her name was Mackenzie Joy.
I saw that.
So I was like, oh, it's that'll be cool because it's both our names put together. I had no clue that her last name was Foy, but
It's close.
Close enough. Anyways, I also think that Christine Froseth could be Froseth could play Violet because I see a lot of pictures of her with like braided crowns and they're just so cute, and I could definitely see
Where
her
is she
as
from?
Violet. I have no clue. And I just can't unsee the braided crown, but I do also agree.
Oh, yeah.
Where's she from?
I see it.
Oh.
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out because I've definitely seen her before. Oh, she's from the Society. I watched that show. Maybe that's where I recognize her from.
Did I watch that show? I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like I've seen her in something else. This is tripping me
God,
out.
it's
Anyways,
raining.
yeah, I could see that too.
Yeah. So yeah, but I also do think it could be Mackenzie Foy as well because she's already been featured in a fantasy series, and I don't know. I just want the show at this point. I don't really care anymore. I just want the show.
I mean, it sounds like it's coming along. I know it's going to be a while because thinking of how much CGI they're going to have, which I think takes probably longer than anything else, especially when you're dealing with so many dragons and elements like that. But I am so excited.
I feel like we just don't get any real updates, and it's like no set time frame. And it's just like I need to know when I'm expecting it so I can set a countdown. Help me out, please.
I would just like the cast to be released because I feel like at least knowing that will help me wait.
I set a date. Like if you give me a date, I'm good. I can mentally prepare for it. I need to know how far because I know it's gonna be a while. But like, don't wait till 2026, 2027 to be like, oh, the show's coming out in 2030. Like what? Like, come on, I need a date. Imagine the 2030s. Imagine walking around saying, "Oh yeah, it's 2031." The hell?
We're gonna have children and shit.
No, for real, babies.
I was looking up how long it took them to make the first season of House of the Dragon, which I think would have less CGI, but it took about a year to film.
Okay.
But I don't know if like that year of filming includes like all the other steps, but
yeah,
maybe a year. I don't know. All right. Well, before we close out today's episode, it is time to spar, aka Kenzie and I giving each other and you guys, our listeners, 2 trivia questions each. And at the end of our Onyx Storm coverage, the loser will have to do something embarrassing or funny or silly or stupid that the winner, which was gonna be me, or you guys as fans, come up with. So please let us know if you got the trivia questions right or wrong. Let us know, and if you have feedback or if you have any ideas for what the loser should do at the end of our Onyx Storm coverage, let us know because we may very well pick what you come up with.
Yes. All right. I feel like I have a really hard question and I have a really easy question. So here we go. In a culture that worships the goddess of war exclusively, what is the ultimate sin and the preferred sacrifice?
Being a coward.
Okay. That's half.
You lose your testicles. I don't know. Death? Wait, is the punishment death?
No, it's ultimate sin, which you got it right, being a coward, and then preferred sacrifice.
Your hands. Your legs.
No.
Is it part of your body?
Yes.
Your fingers.
I'll just give you half a point.
Your big toe.
No. It's blood.
Okay, my bad. At least I got half of it. Oh my god. Okay. Where does Violet and Mira's grandma Nyara live?
What the hell? How am I supposed to know that?
Mira went to visit her this stretch.
Yeah, I know, but
she told Violet. Do you want a hint?
Mm-hmm.
Starts with an L.
And Llewellyn's land.
What? I mean, at least it was like a fourth wing name. No, it was Lucerys, you silly goose. Oh my god.
Okay. In what month did the Midnight Massacre take place?
December?
Yeah, that was the real easy one.
Oh wow, I guessed.
Oh shit! You should have guessed wrong.
I remember it being like later in the year, but I couldn't remember. Well, I think I associated midnight mass with like Christmas traditions, and I was like, oh, that makes sense.
I should have asked you for the specific date. Damn it.
No, I definitely would have got that wrong. All right. What are at least two names? Two of the triumvirate members. Can you name at least two of them?
Fuck. Darn it.
One starts with an F.
Ferris.
Yeah.
Ferris wheel. Okay. And I know like one starts with an N, like Nari or Neri or Gnarly.
Yeah. Yeah, you got it. It's Nairi or Neri.
Oh, okay. And the other one was.
I don't know the third one. I forgot.
Oh. I feel like it started with like
Roslyn.
a U. Oh. I was going to say it started with a U.
Oh. Ew. No. Okay, well, there you go. You got two.
Yeah.
2 points.
Wait.
Okay, so you have 2 points now. Yeah.
I was like, what? Yeah, I see what you're saying now.
No, I'm not giving you an extra point.
It's okay.
So the score right now is I have 3.5 and Kenzie has 2. So
I make my questions harder.
We'll see. I feel like you say that every time.
Yeah, and then I feel bad. I'd be like, it's too hard.
That's what I do when I make them, but I guess they could be easier. All right, that's a wrap on our third deep dive into Onyx Storm. So we're halfway through our deep dive coverage of this book. We're so happy you're here and you've joined us for this deep dive, and thank you so much for tuning in.
Join us next Thursday as we continue our deep dive into Onyx Storm. We will be going over chapters 34 through 45.
Yes. And before you go, if you could please leave us a review, we'd really appreciate it. We've actually gotten like minimal reviews, and we've been doing this since September. And I think we're pretty cool, but like y'all just let us know how cool you think we are by leaving us a review.
Yes.
Whether it's good or bad, we really value feedback from you guys, and we want to be able to reach more people. And part of that is all that algorithm business. So more reviews, reach more people. That's our end goal, because we do want to make this a full-time job for the both of us in the future, hopefully. So we appreciate any of you just taking a tiny bit of your time and helping us work towards that goal. But regardless, check out our socials. We have lots of good content coming out, especially Onyx Storm stuff at Shadow and Starlight Pod. Yeah, reach out to us if you want to talk about books. We love to talk to people about books. And make sure to subscribe on YouTube and all major podcast platforms for a freshly baked episode to be delivered to you next week.
Bye, friends. See you next week.
Bye. We'll see you next week.